He'll be pursuing a NASCAR career in the United States at the end of the season. Greg Russ looks at one of the big stories of a season which hasn't really even started yet.
I'm bringing home some good news. I'm bringing home good news.
They say it's like jet fighters in a gymnasium. It's definitely tough. It's really hard to pass here, so you see a lot of beating and banging and things like that.
You're almost in a controlled wreck all the time. I mean, the car, you're going so fast.
It's pretty intense, pretty focused. To me, it's where the original door-handle to door-handle racing came from. While you're practicing, they only give you like an hour at a time. So you got to throw 30,000 different things, it seems like, at it in an hour, and it drives you crazy sometimes.
Things can happen so quick. A chain reaction is just like that. I mean, you need to look behind you as much as in front of you when something happens. And you.
NASCAR, motor racing at its toughest, bruising best. For almost 40 straight weekends each year, the world's premier tin-top category weaves its way across North America. The drivers are megastars, and the good ones have a pay packet to match. Most are raised on a staple diet of speedway in the deep south. The good old boys are proud of stock car tradition and extremely patriotic. This is a 190-mile-an-hour show where Robbins racing and getting a break ain't easy.
NASCAR is a great family, a lot of great families within inside of it, whether it's the teams or the families themselves, or the drivers and the crew chiefs and whatever else. Well, you know, we're all friends on the racetrack and off the racetrack, and we try to help each other as much as we can, especially with the drafting. But what it comes down to, I'm not going to help that guy unless they can help me. You know, we're all selfish in one way or the other. If I don't think pushing this guy to the front or pulling out behind this guy or whatever is going to help me, Elliott Sadler, we're not going to do it. I mean, that's just plain as day. And when it comes down to the end, there's no holds barred, there's no teammates. I have a teammate, some guys have 3 or 4 teammates. When it comes down to the end, you're going to do whatever you got to do to manipulate yourself in front of him and try to get the win. So it's kind of like all friends out the window, especially the last half of the race.
Success in other forms of motorsport guarantees you nothing in this business. The good ones have tried, few conquer. RPM interviewed Christian Fittipaldi back in 2003. Compared to his open-wheel career in kart, the Brazilian had a short stay in NASCAR.
The only similarity that these cars have to everything I've raced in my past racing career is that both of them have steering wheels and they have 4 wheels. Apart from that, it's a complete different approach to the sport. It's a complete different animal for you to handle out there.
On this same trip to the Bristol Motor Speedway, an up-and-coming Aussie named Marcus Ambrose planted the seed about a future in NASCAR. Back then, Ambrose was still focused on winning his first supercar title, but this was the start of a fact-finding mission.
That's what you call when the car's turning too tight and he takes the spring rubbers out or he puts them on the front. You're trying to transfer the weight to other parts of the car. Is that right?
Yes, because if you don't do something mechanically, then it will try and drive off the left front tire the whole time.
Loose contact with the Americans continued when Ambrose got back to Australia, but he knew the importance of having a supercar championship under his belt when it came to the next series of introductions. At Albert Park last weekend, the now 2-time champion announced plans to move to America next year. He wants to base himself in Charlotte, North Carolina, in the heart of NASCAR territory. While the details aren't finalized yet, he's going to give it 2 years. Ambrose has Ford's full blessing, and the Stone brothers have granted an early release from his contract.
We've been in contact with Dan Davis, and Dan runs our racing program in the U.S., and I think we both understand very clearly what Marcus is getting into, and I think he's been very straightforward that, you know, he does have an opportunity and a development opportunity to prove himself. There are no guarantees with this, and I think Marcus is very confident in his skill, as he should be. And also the guys in the U.S. know him quite well.
Yes, we would have him back in a heartbeat, but with franchises and things like that, you just can't, you know, get a contracted driver in to replace Marcus and then find a slot for him if all of a sudden he decided to come home. But just see how things pan out.
No doubt the team's endurance drivers will press for selection as the season progresses. And although the Stones no longer have an option on Mark Winterbottom, the former Development Series champion will be among the favourites for the most sought-after ride in V8 Supercar. With the news out, Ambrose can focus on the year ahead. He's aiming for an historic three-peat before his departure. There'll be seat fittings and tests as he prepares to enter the next phase of his career. Only a few Aussies can lay claim to a NASCAR championship start, 5 in fact. While Brad Jones and Jim Richards succeeded in Australia, it was Dick Johnson and Alan Grice who tried their luck in America during the late 80s.
You know, NASCAR style of stuff where you got stagger and a bit more pressure in that tyre, and you want a fatter spring here or something like that. It's a real black art, so to speak.
It's very important though that he gets some good help early. That's most essential.
With almost no technology allowed in NASCAR, learning the dynamics of these unique race cars won't be easy. His supercar experience will help, but oval tracks are a whole new ball game.
Marcus, on the other hand, when he gets onto the road circuits, he'll go gangbusters because they are quite a good thing to drive on a road circuit. And with the disciplines that he's had, he will be miles in front of those guys that are there now, but the ovals are quite a bit different.
Well, he's smooth, and that's important. He's you know, precise when you watch him drive. But obviously, one of the biggest things you'll take with him is a mindset, because he's obviously decided to do it. You know, to be so positive about something like that, of course, is a great advantage.
He'll need to call on every piece of experience for this challenge, particularly with a nickname like the Devil Racer. Americans will either make a beeline or run a mile from Marcus Ambrose.
He's sure to be one of our best exports, but how will he finish his immediate career in Australia? We'll ask him all that and more after the break.